So this afternoon we've got Alison with us from SAS. Hi Alison. As you'll see in the playlist, we've gone through all the features of SAS. So this is kind of bringing everything together, a bit of a how-to guide. So you found SAS either through their Facebook page or Al or my page. You've downloaded it and you've got your 42 scans. What do you do now? So I will pass it over.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Emily. Yeah, it's easy for us to walk through and talk about all the panels and get really in depth, and Emily and I get really excited about that stuff. But there is that starting point of what the heck do I do now? And I think the thing to keep in mind is it may look overwhelming when you do a search and have all this stuff come up on your screen. But the bottom line is it's easier than finding all those details on your own. So SAS is here to pull all that information together for you, put it right in front of you. But you will get more comfortable, guarantee it. Every user will tell you, right, Emily? You get more comfortable the more you use it. So,
and I think not everyone needs all the data. That's something. I mean, some people just literally want, can I sell it? What's the ROI? What's the profit done?
Exactly.
People want to drill down. So it's a mix.
And I think ideal world, if you could turn off and on every single feature, that would be like the ultimate software, but that would drive a software engineer crazy. So yeah, not really practical in that respect. So, but yeah, just want to run through, okay, I've got my welcome email. What the heck do I do now? So in your welcome email, it gives you links to where you load all the tools. So as you probably know, there are 3 tools in SAS that you get for the same price. First is the web, actually, the desktop version that we're looking at right here. The desktop version that we will be looking at in a moment when I click to it on the screen. There we go. The desktop version just enables you to, it enables you to do everything that you do anywhere else on the product. Let me get to the home screen there. The second option is, of course, the extension, the Chrome extension. So by the way, the desktop version, you just need to go to sas.selleramp.com. You can log in there. The Chrome extension, again, the link in your welcome email will tell you where to load the Chrome extension. So anytime you use, for those that don't know what extensions are, anytime you use Google Chrome, this page you'll be able to pop this page up if it doesn't pop up on its own, and do the analysis right on the same screen that you're looking at. So whether it's Amazon, whether it's Argus, any site out there, any e-commerce site out there.
What happens to people who don't use Chrome? What happens to people who use Edge or Firefox and all the other browsers? Would they go through the website?
Number one, from a technical perspective, you should use Chrome. It's a superior browser is what I would say. It's a superior browsing experience. But the extension is only good. It only does work in Chrome.
So on the website.
You can use the website, you can use the web app version or the desktop version, or you can use the mobile version. That's the third tool, the mobile version. Mobile version, as I scramble to find my phone, which this isn't ideal to point it out to you on a screen like this. Emily and I aren't quite advanced enough to be able to plug this in and show you what happens on screen, are we? We're getting there.
We're not the techie ones.
But yeah, the mobile app does everything that the extension and the desktop do. All of your history, all of your data gets saved amongst all 3 tools, so you're never missing anything. It's really a matter of what you want to use it for, and I think Emily will attest to that as much as anybody. When you're out doing RA, you're going to want to use the mobile app. When you're sitting at your desktop doing checks on different products all over the web, you're going to want to use your extension or your desktop. So, yeah. So again, links to all those products, and in the case of the mobile app, the Android or iOS version are all in your welcome email. So first is get everything loaded up on your devices, and then you get to dive in. And that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to use the extension for today's purposes. But the first thing you'll want to do is go into your settings. Go a little cog on any of the 3 tools and go to your settings. So your settings will display your email information, your home marketplace, which you can change, by the way. But then there are things that you will need to set up. The tool won't work as well as you need it to unless you go in and do this. So you're going to go in and set up things like your VAT scheme that applies to you. You can manually adjust the VAT scheme as you search products if you need to for some reason, but this will be your default. And then your settings. and this is really critical. I think, Emily, you'd be a perfect person to attest to. These will change as you get more familiar with shopping.
Yep.
Yeah. And these are all things that you're going to get more comfortable with. So you might just leave them blank to begin with, some of them.
So what is the default then? So if I don't touch that and I'm brand new, what is the default?
Your defaults are all, oh gosh, you quizzed me now, didn't you?
Oh,
most of them are set to 0. Okay. But there are a few things such as BSR.
In.
Yeah, there are such things as BSR and ROI where we do need something. Okay. Because what SAS will do is through different colors, essentially, will tell you if something is good, green, or bad, red.
What do you mean good or bad? Good or bad is in terms of your criteria?
In terms of your criteria, factoring in all the different fees, all the different costs that are involved, it will help tell you if this is going to be a good buy for you or not a good buy for you.
So for a brand new beginner or someone quite new to it who hasn't really found their niche in the Amazon marketplace yet, what would you do? I mean, I'd do between 1% and 3% BSR.
I would do, yeah, exactly. Minimum maximum BSR. Don't limit yourself too much initially. 5% is a good kind of default to start with. You know, this is, so for those of you who don't know, BSR, bestsellers rank. BSR is where that product ranks within that category as far as how it's set.
Second. So yes. BSR is just a little guide because it could sell out with every seller 10 minutes later, and its BSR could be completely different. So it's only
absolutely. And so yeah, it's constantly changing. You can see when we look at the history how the BSR changes for a product. So but it is meant to give you a real indication. But what SAS will do then is tell you when you look up a product, hey, this one does not meet your requirements. You know, oh, it's an 8% BSR. It's in the top 8%. You wanted top 5%.
Which may be a good product. It's just in your original written. It's not saying don't touch it. It's just saying this isn't in the criteria you set me.
And that's where you get comfortable with what level of success you have at different sort of BSRs.
SAS will not tell you what to buy or what not to buy. It will just tell you what you want it to.
It'll bring all the information in together and say, based on what you've told me, I don't think this is a good buy for you.
You'll have to make the decision.
Yeah, it will never deny you the information, and that's the great part. It's not going to say don't buy it. It's going to say we recommend you don't, and you'll be able to look into the analysis and see why. So again, you can put in a minimum profit that you want to make. So after all of your costs, fees, everything, are you going to make, or in this case, £3 on it? And again, it'll flag it up, yes or no. Is there a minimum percent ROI, such as 30% is a good default to go with? Do you have any other fees involved? So obviously SAS doesn't know if you have any prep fees involved, for example. If you're using a prep center, for example, are there any other fees that you would like to build into the cost of a product? Say you always want to have an extra 50p, extra 50p in a product or extra 10% in a product.
I discovered something recently. So personally, my cogs are 42p. So I add 42p to every single item, whether it's £4 or £4,000. There
you go.
But I've recently started adding an extra 10p to cover all those annoying items that Amazon don't refund.
Oh, great idea.
Exactly. So the groceries that expire, or where the customer doesn't have to return them, or where the customer returns it and I can't resell it, that was all getting lost. So I've now shoved 10p extra on every single item I've got in my
perfect example.
And I've no idea if it's the right amount. I've got to tweak it a bit, but that's a little like nugget in there.
It's almost like an open box policy. Like what margin are you going to miss out on because it's not selling as you expected?
It's like the excess, and then so there's a little tip for anyone. That's a little nugget that I recently just go and add something like 10p on for all those things you can't get back.
Inbound shipping cost, depending on your particular situation. What is Amazon charging you for your inbound shipping?
How would you know that?
It's in Seller Central. You should be able to find it in Seller Central.
Okay. So so I try and get my boxes up to 15 kilograms, and I'm VAT registered, so it's £3.60 for a box. So I just divide 15 by £3.60. For me, it's 24p. So if you know what your box costs, just divide it by the 15 kilograms, and there's your inbound shipping fee.
Inbound cost. Okay. And then so those are all settings that that you set once. I mean, obviously you can go and modify them, but you can't change them on the fly once you're doing calculations. Those things are going to be there. Now the defaults you can change. The defaults are just make your life easier. We'll pre-populate something with some data. So that would be FBM cost. If you're doing FBM, what's your fulfillment cost? What sort of storage time do you assume? Like, what's your default storage time at Amazon? Whether you're doing what your local fulfillment method is in your local market. Are you FBM? Are you FBA? Again, you can adjust it as you're calculating a specific product if you decide you want to switch it, but this just keeps it easier. And then if you're doing European, are you Pan-EU? Are you EFN? Because there'll be fees that will vary. And then the custom ROI calculator. Different topic for a different day, but essentially we've got a panel that allows you to do some custom ROI calculations, and this just has a default percentage in there that you can utilize.
Is that new? That's new, isn't it?
It is fairly new. It is fairly new, actually. Yes. We should probably tell them about that panel. I'm not gonna divert from where we are right now, though. So. Okay, so set up your settings. We've covered this before. You can move your panels around and you can turn them off and on. So something you might want to do, especially as you get started, a lot of these panels such as geolocation and search again, and some of these you're not going to want to see initially. So it's just as easy as turning it off, saving it, and then it'll just go away. You won't have it in front of you. So if that helps you in getting used to everything, then great. So, so again, set up your settings. Then we can start sourcing. Then we can start looking at things. And what I'd like to talk about now are what the key things are. Yes, it's all important, but in the grand scheme of I'm just getting going, I've got 42 scans to use, what should I do? There's 3 different things we want you to get comfortable with to really help you start crafting that answer to whether it's a good product or not. So let us take a look, shall we? We're gonna look at some Legos now. And I'm just gonna move the window to the other side, just like that, very magical.
I love the fact it doesn't cut out what you're trying to look at.
It doesn't.
Worse than one where you half cut your writing out and you've got to try and work out, you can't get.
Like, what did I say there?
I love it.
We can float it around. We can put it in the middle of the screen if we want.
Right.
So, the thing that we need to keep in mind is, first and foremost, is are you eligible to sell a product? Seems pretty basic. But first rule of selling on Amazon is you got to be eligible to sell it, right? Yeah. So, for example, if we go to our panel that we call the alerts panel. Alerts panel. Oh, look, we need to be logged into Seller Central. You need to. So what alerts panel does is it accesses information from your Seller Central account to help present you information that you need to be aware of on a product. So. Now that I have logged in, I can refresh the page.
So all of the information that SAS users see is particular to their personal situation.
Your specific situation. So as your situation changes, your results will change. As you get, say, ungated in a particular category, your situation will change. So I did actually log in earlier. That's why I just refreshed right now. And now you can see that we don't have to log in. It is connecting to our Seller Central account. And it does say we're eligible to sell this product. Great. That's first tick box done. So you can sell the product. So our second tip we're going to want to look at is, does it meet our criteria that does it meet what we just discussed? And if we look at the ranks and prices, you'll see the BSR is green, thumbs up, a green thumbs up. So we said up to 5%. This is 1.08 percentile. So yes, this is a good seller. If you get a thumbs down, such as over here, I pulled up something that had a thumbs down. There we go. Crazy Squirrel Lady bag, not such a good seller. So, and you're restricted. And I'm restricted anyway. So you know what? That's two dings against this product. So yeah.
Can SAS
Third thing we're gonna,
if you get the restricted, because obviously a new seller is going to feel like they're restricted in every single thing they scan. Can you do something within SAS to see what you can do?
You can actually. You can hit the ungate button here. What it will do is run an attempt to get you ungated in the product, and it'll tell you if it failed, if it succeeded. You'll understand right there.
And Amazon made that decision, didn't they? That's not SAS.
And that is just connected to your Seller Central account. So it'd just be the same as going into Seller Central and submitting the ungating request in there. Just saves you a step.
I think it's always worth hitting that button because you might get 10 no's in a row. It just takes one yes.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep trying, keep trying. So I'm going to go to a product that is a little more successful here. Good old squirrels. There we go. Oh, no. We're going to try ungate. No. Lego. That's where I was going. Thank you. Forget which products I had success on so far. So here we are back on our successful product. We can sell the product. Its BSR is within the limits that we have set. Your key to everything is going to be your maximum cost. What is your maximum cost on the product? So maximum cost factors in everything from all of your fees that are going to be involved, your VAT status. It factors everything in to say you need to pay no more than $19.55 for this particular product.
So it knows what the Amazon fees are going to be.
It knows what all your Amazon fees are, because obviously we've told it quite a bit. We've set some of the parameters up, haven't we? Yeah. But there's some pretty good logic involved in all the Amazon fees. And if you go into the panel called the profit calculator, you actually get a breakdown here of the different fees. We did a video on the profit calculator if anybody wants to dive deep into that. So, but yeah, it knows based on this product, based on the size and weight of this product, based on your status, it knows all this information. So it pulls everything together and really gives you a top line. Here's what you have to pay. So as you're standing at Tesco, you're using the mobile app, scanning a product, it's going to give you a quick glance to say it needs to be less than this compared to what they're selling it for. Nope, that's not going to work. Or yep, that is going to work.
That's awesome.
So you got a wholesaler and you're just sitting there.
I trust that data 100%. I don't question, personally, my business, I trust Al and how he's built this 100%. I don't check it. I don't worry about it. I trust him 100%. So I literally just listen to SAS and go with it.
And for those that don't know, Al, the gentleman that built this product, who I happen to be married to,
awesome guy.
He's been an Amazon seller. He is an Amazon seller. And that's where this was all driven from, is him doing RA, OA, wholesale, all the different methods that he utilized to get products into Amazon or sold on Amazon. And yeah, I mean, ideally, this is something he wanted to design for himself, but it just made so much sense and there was so much need for it out there. And as Emily will attest, he still takes feedback and suggestions from the group, and he really wants to make it an active product that is useful for people. So. Okay, so those three essentially. See if I can do some annotation here. We're going to check our eligibility first, everybody. Then we're going to check our BSR, make sure it's where we want it to be, and then we're going to check our maximum cost. And between those three, you could quickly make a decision on whether you want to sell a product. We'll go into, got some other video ideas in mind. We'll go in depth a little bit more and help you learn the analysis. But really, as a top line view, using SAS, those three are going to give you the quickest indication of whether it's going to be a worthwhile product.
Yep, perfect. I love that. I think it's really good. So all this information, is that visible? I know we can't show it because we're not very techie people, but is that all showing on the phone app? So if I was in Tesco's, would I have access to those top line pieces of data?
You would. In fact, if I look up, what am I looking at? Oh, I'll look up the squirrels, which I couldn't sell before, but oops, okay. It is. I'm getting there. Yeah. It's all available in the app as well. It looks exactly like it does on the extension, to be honest. You're just scrolling up and down and there's your BSRs, there's your maximum cost, there's your alerts. So yeah, you will get no problem accessing the information on the app as well. So
awesome.
Yes.
And you get
one of these days.
You get 42 scans.
42 scans, yeah. So what I would do if I were you is, rather than just going nuts and scanning 42 things and then just saying, I don't know, scan a half dozen and then stop and look.
Yeah.
Like get yourself comfortable with what you're looking at. Because like Emily said, SAS isn't gonna, it's not gonna tell you, yes, this is gonna save your life or not. It's gonna present the information to you. You still get to make the ultimate judgment, but you need to get comfortable with what you're looking at. So that's our biggest bit of advice.
So I would say in your first 10 scans, try and scan 3 different brands in 3 completely different areas. So do like a health and beauty. If you're in Tesco, do a pet food, go and do a toothpaste, and then go and do tomato sauce. Just mix it and just see what reactions and actions you get, and just mix it up.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can easily go and do 42 scans on herbal essence alone, and you're like, oh god.
Exactly. I wasted all my scans on one product, right?
So I would maybe go across 3 or 4 categories and really basically stress test it. It's there to test it.
And other thing is, we covered how to set up the settings. So go in and play with the settings too. Scan something, go in and change your BSR %, or go in and change your ROI, your minimum ROI, and then scan it again. And yes, you're gathering the same information, but it'll present it to you differently based on the parameters that you've set.
If I double check something and it was the same product again, would that count as 2 scans or is it 1? How would that?
That would count as, no, that is the same product. So you're scanning the same product together.
Products you can scan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly.
Okay, that's
Exactly.
interesting. Yeah, so you can play around. So do you herbal essence shampoo? Well, I've got that in my head. I don't know. Do you herbal essence and then change your BSR or change your ROI and just watch kind of what happened, and then you don't use
because
hands up.
You'll get used to looking in the history. The history is very helpful, and that's something else new people should know is looking in the history. All your history is there. You can go back and look at any of the products again. So so go in and change your settings and then pop into your history. Heck, you can do it when you get home, to be honest, now that I think about it. Yeah. Scan it when you're in the store, go home, change your settings, and go back and look at the history, and it will use your new settings to tell you what the information is.
I know that SAS is in beta, but is it kind of buggy beta where you're going to be a bit slow, it's got problems? Is it at the
No, absolutely not.
Really?
There's no, it is beyond buggy beta. It is, the reason it's still in beta is that there's other features being added to it. That's the primary reason.
But the phone apps and stuff work, because I know other softwares have trouble with iOS. So.
No, absolutely, all 3 of them. There's minimal amount of things that you can't do on all 3, and we direct it. We tell you so if we can't. So. And that's all has to do with your setup and settings and fancy things that newbies won't get onto yet. So
the word beta sort of scares me a little bit and makes me think of something.
It does, yeah.
I'm not very. So okay, so yeah, it's basically a finished version. It's just beta.
Yeah. Because, we've got active users using it every day. We've done hundreds of thousands of scans
using SAS, haven't you? You've got some. Not everyone's new. You've got lots of new people using it, but you've got some big. We've
got some big users that have been using it for up to 15 months now. So
wow.
Yeah, exactly. And we're closing in on a major milestone of our 1,000,000th scan. So
wow. I wonder what the 1,000,000th person will be. You'll have to find a way to
I'm sure Al will give credit to whoever does the 1,000,000th scan.
Bonus if it's a squirrel related item.
Yeah, watch, it's me and my squirrels, right?
Yeah.
And this crazy kid, he's stalking us today. The crazy kid's stalking us today.
So that's going to be the thumbnail, that picture.
Yeah, right.
So if you've got any questions about it, there'll be a link down below. So you get 52 scans, you get 3 months to do it, and then it's up to you whether you take this off or not. I don't know why anyone wouldn't, to be honest.
And I think it's worth mentioning that when you reach your 40-second scan, it will tell you your trial is done. Do you want to continue? 2 different packages, either $11.95 for up to 1,000 scans a month, which as you're starting out, it'd be perfect. Yep. If you want to do unlimited scans and multiple logins at a time, say if you got other people doing work for you, then you can upgrade to the larger package. So But I think most everybody here will probably be starting on the getting started package.
Just in case if people didn't hear that, £12 a month for 1,000
£12 a month. £12 a month.
That's mad. And
or you can bust out and spend 16 for the big package. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect. So I'll put the link down below. There's the SAS Facebook group, or there's my Facebook group. There are always people to answer questions if you're not sure about something. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it's really fun to use it. Actually, I quite like doing my RA with my app. I hate it when I go out and I'm like, my phone's dead, so I just don't RA without it now. I'm like, no, I'll go another time. Honestly,
it's like trying to get ASINs, scan them on your Amazon app so you get your ASINs. It's like, Take a portable charger with you. Ask for a portable charger for Christmas, everybody.
Definitely. Brilliant. Thank you so much. We'll be making some more videos.
Thanks, everybody.
I hope you have had a good time. Thank you. Take care. Bye.